Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of Power Pop Shakers. This is where I talk about Power Pop new releases and the odd reissue as well. If you go to my channel and click on playlists, you can listen to the tracks that I'm talking about today. And the first track I've uploaded is by Billy Tibbles, and it's called Burnout, and it's from his 12-inch 6-track EP called Nightlife Stories, and it's out on Silver Arrow Records, and it's produced by Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes. He's based in Los Angeles, although originally he comes from London, and it's an interesting mix of 70s influenced glam, especially T-Rex, and he's also developing very much a LA rock sensibility as well. Next up, I've uploaded 6 tracks by the Zeros, and these are all taken from their first 3 singles, and which have just been reissued, or recently reissued, on the Madrid-based label Munster. And the Zeros were one of the first California punk bands, and they had a sound to begin with quite similar to the Ramones, although they quickly developed their own style. And these singles date from 1977 through to 1980, and the first 2 came out on the Bomp label. Next, I've uploaded the track Model Village by Pete Astor, and it's from the LP, CD, Tall Stories and New Religions on the German label Tapete. And this is the 11th solo album by the ex-leader of The Loft and the Weather Prophets. If you've followed his career over the last 40 years, this is a fascinating listen as he revisits and re-records some of his songs that he recorded with his previous bands. Next up, it's the Corettes and the track Shake, and it's from the 7-inch single Shake, coupled with You Woo Me on Damaged Goods. The A-side has a danceable beat which immediately lifts the spirits, but I still wish that they'd come up with some memorable melodies. Next, it's The Things, and She Came Out of the Sky, and that comes from the LP Coloured Heaven on Misty Lane. And it's a reissue of a Paisley Underground classic from 1984, which came out on Vox at that time. And there's only 300 copies that have been pressed. Next up, it's the track The Velvet Affair by Wesley Fuller, and it's from the LP All Fuller, No Filler on Cheer Squad, and it's the long-awaited second album by this Perth, Australia musician. It's a strong set of 70s influenced pop rock, and there's touches of psych in there and a bit of production wizardry going on as well. Hopefully we don't have to wait another 7 years for his next album. Next up, I've uploaded 3 tracks by the Lemon Twigs, My Golden Years, They Don't Know How to Fall in Place, and How Can I Love Her More, and they're taken from their 5th CD LP cassette, A Dream Is All We Know, on Captured Tracks. To me, it feels like the D'Addario brothers have refined their sound to appeal beyond the core power pop underground audience, and the best of the songs here don't sound out of place played alongside classic 70s pop rock acts. Next up, I've uploaded 3 tracks by Time and Dog and the Dacoits, and the tracks are Wheel of Life and Death, Turning of the World, and I Don't Want to Be Poor, and they're taken from the LP CD The Granada Sessions, and that's out on Tiny Global Productions. Time and Dog was a close friend of Joe Strummer for many years and was also a member of the Mescaleros, and he's back in a rock and roll setting. And this, I think, is almost an essential purchase for Clash fans. And a set of songs here which I think are the equal of Lose This Skin, where he took the vocals on that track on Sandinista. Next up, I've uploaded the track Tell Me Lies by the Woggles to the Power Pop Shakers playlist, and it's from the wicked cool CD and LP Time Has Come. The addition of the Prisoners' vocalist guitarist Graham Day to their ranks is a real surprise. And working on the premise of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, what you get here is a selection of very upbeat, fun garage rock. It's unpretentious party music. And continuing with Graham Day, next we have the Prisoners and the tracks Morning Star, Going Back and Winter in June. And this comes from their reunion CD LP Morning Star on Own Up. I was actually the first person ever to do a face-to-face interview with Graham Day. So for me, it's an utter joy, 38 years after their last album, to have them back together. And it's an incredibly strong set of songs, taking influences from The Who, The Small Faces, and 60s Blue-Eyed Soul. And James Taylor's Hammond organ, I must say, is just fantastic throughout. Next, I've uploaded the track Tell Me by Paul Collins, and the Los Angeles power pop legend is included on Gem Records' tribute CD. Gem Records celebrates Jagger and Richards. Other artists featured on the CD include the Gripweeds, the Anderson Council, and the Midnight Callers. Next up, it's the On and Ons, and I've uploaded the track Looking Out of a Mirror, and it's from this 7-inch single Looking Out of a Mirror, coupled with What's Going On, and that's on the French label Rogue. The Sydney-based band are a garage pop band with an illustrious pedigree, including ex-members of the Screaming Tribesmen and the Hoodoo Gurus. I mentioned their 5th album, which is called Let Your Hair Down, in a previous episode of Power Pop Shakers. Next up, it's Child of Panoptes, and I've uploaded the track Hey Mr. Carpenter, and it's from the 7-inch EP Petit Morceau de Buvard, and they're a French band that's new to me. They previously released a single and an LP on Soundflat Records, and this I describe as psych-tinged pop. Next up, it's the Crystal Teardrop, and I've uploaded the track Running Out of Time, and it's from the 7-inch single Running Out of Time, coupled with Après Jeudi, and again this is on Rogue Records. The record label is actually building up an impressive catalogue of 7-inch singles. The Crystal Teardrop, they hail from Stoke-on-Trent here in England, and this is their 2nd single. The Farfisa organ and the female lead vocals are really standout elements for me. Next up, it's the Dialmans, and I've uploaded the track A Thing About You, and it's from the 7-inch EP Lucky, which is out on the Spanish label Snap. A Thing About You is a cover of a Tom Petty song, and this Norwegian band, led by Andre Dahlman from the Yum Yums, have been producing infectious pop punk since 2011. Next up, this is a real pleasant surprise, the return of Red Kross, and I've uploaded the track Candy Coloured Catastrophe to the Power Pop Shakers playlist, and it's taken from their self-titled double LP, which will be out on In the Red on the 28th of June this year, and it will be their 9th LP. A book and a documentary are also in the works and should be out later this year as well. I just hope they get over to the UK to tour the album, as I was due to see them during COVID, and the tour was sadly cancelled. Next up, I've uploaded the track My Imaginary Friend by The Dictators, and it's available as a download at Bandcamp on the Valley Entertainment label. The revamped lineup, led by Andy Chernoff and Ross the Boss, are going from strength to strength. And following a recent mini tour with The Damned, they're now putting the final touches to their long overdue album, and the band say it should be out this summer. Next, I've uploaded the track Cool Control by The Motorists, or just Motorists, and this is from the Toronto-based band's 2nd LP called Touched by the Stuff, which is out on We Are Time in the US and Canada, and on Bobo Integral in the rest of the world. I can hear influences in their sound from UK indie pop from the 80s and 90s. There's meticulous songwriting at play here, really at the heart of their sound, which gives them an admirable self-assurance. Next up, I've uploaded the track All the Way Down by the Reflectors, and it's from the Los Angeles-based band's 2nd LP, Going Out of Fashion on Neon Nile. They've perfected a melodic late 70s guitar pop sound, which doesn't sound out of place played alongside, say, the Boys and the Buzzcocks. And on this album you get 14 short and sweet gems. Next, I've uploaded the track Surround Me by the Stems to the Power Pop Shakers playlist. The Stems' 2nd album came out in 2007 and finally gets a vinyl reissue on Cheer Squad. It originally only came out on CD. Don Mariani seems to have a never-ending supply of garage pop songs up his sleeve. Next, it's the track The Worried Well by the Fallen Leaves, and it's from their LP Simple Songs for Complex People on Parliament, and this is the 6th album in their sporadic 20-year career. If you love 60s British mod pop and R&B, but played with a 70s punk sensibility, this should be on your wants list. Next up, it's Beachwood Sparks and the track Falling Forever, and it comes from the LP CD Across the River of Stars, which is due out on the 19th of July on the Curation label, and it's produced by Chris Robinson of the Black Crows. And the track Falling Forever luxuriates in Birdsian jangling guitar and suggests that the album's going to have a return to their sound on their first album. 2024 is really starting to shape up to be a vintage year for some of my favourite bands reforming. And just to end with, if you hunt around on the internet and in independent record shops, there are some fascinating punk, garage, psych and power pop bargains to be found. For example, I picked up this one, Second Grade, and their 2020 album Hit to Hit. And I really love the main man in the band, Peter Gill, is a really quirky indie pop singer-songwriter. I've mentioned him before actually in a couple of previous Power Pop Shakers videos, and amazingly I picked this one up brand new sealed for just £3, and Flamin Groovies, I'll Have a Bucket of Brains. It was a record store day release in 2021. I didn't buy it then because I do have the tracks on a CD, but seeing it for just £3, I couldn't leave that one behind. Okay, also if you look in the description to this video, you'll find details of all the tracks, well not just tracks, all the records that I've talked about today. And also please go check out the playlist and have a listen. I'm sure there'll be something in there that you really enjoy. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.